S&P, what an annoying day. Chopped around. You know what we're not going to do tomorrow? Well, maybe tomorrow, but not tomorrow evening. Chop around. Hopefully, because NVIDIA is going to save the market, send it to all-time highs or all new lows. Still just jacking around. Again, yellow zones, daily, blue zones, hourly, kind of speed bump zones. Where we are just chopping around. So far, it's a net nothing day. As far as news goes, we have jobless claims Thursday, and we got the letters on Friday, PCE. More importantly, tomorrow after hours, we do have NVIDIA. NVIDIA carries enough weight. I shouldn't have to explain it to you guys. It's going to move the market. Gosh, I would have to be bullish the S&P. No, I hate this wick, and it's not even this. It's the NASDAQ. I don't want to jump ahead. As far as market makers go, our expected move, we're well within range. We haven't done literally anything. Lauren is listening in. I appreciate that. Genuinely, man, I gotta warn people about my sarcasm. All right, anyway, S&P. And by S&P, I mean NASDAQ. This is what happens, guys, when I don't have a monster. I sound like I may or may not be having a stroke. So you guys saw today, I went long the NASDAQ. I ended up getting a win, but I went long in the morning, and then that wick actually got me out. I went long. It was like right. I was looking at this low over here. I was like, let's go. I went long, stopped me out. As soon as we got back in that blue zone, that became a wick. I did go long. Ultimately, I didn't make it very far. I tagged out over here. I didn't even trail it 2 candles back. Made up for that loss, then made some. That was kind of my day on that. And that was it. Up here, I did close my the QQQ calls that I bought yesterday. So overall, profitable day. In fact, I might even, if we can get down here to the bottom of that blue zone, I might even grab another NQ contract. Now, as far as that go, I don't like doing that overnight because, there's 4 people trading overnight, and they're in Tokyo, right? There's just no volume. It's easy to buy up the whole order book and you don't have to pay for the order flow. You can just literally look at the level 2 and see where everybody's at. All 6 or 7 people in the markets. But I think we established a range today, and I bet we don't break it tomorrow. Because who in here is going to, and now I'm not talking about retail, but institution-wise, who in here is going to put out a bunch of money knowing NVIDIA has earnings right after hours? People that are putting chips on the table for NVIDIA, that's going to be about it. Everyone else, if they're removing it, today's sell-off, or this sell-off right here, could easily just be like, hey, I'm removing risk. I'm taking some positions off the table because I don't want NVIDIA to wreck them. Remember, as a money manager, like an institution like that, they don't, like, their cost basis is cool because you got to tell your clients something. But at the same time, they're there to just make money on movement. So they can sell something out and just get right back in after the volatility. If NVIDIA sends it to 160 and pulls back to 140, that's a great dip buy. And that's an awesome dip buy to have later versus you just keep in there for the possibility of 160 and then it sends it to 95. Good luck with that phone call, freeing up capital to get long. Hopefully. What I was kind of hoping for that we did not get, I will jump ahead to NVIDIA real quick just because we're on tech. Did nothing. Kind of like we talked about last night. NVIDIA doing so far everything we've said. For the I can't remember if I went over both scenarios or just one, but I talked about, first of all, I said if NVIDIA trends up, I'm going to buy puts. If NVIDIA trends down, I'm going to buy calls. The idea being somebody wants something cheap. They sell this thing off. They create that scare because they want cheap calls, right? Or they send it up. They create that hype. That's exit liquidity, and they want cheap puts. But then the other scenario that I said is likely going to happen, we're going to go, I think I said up Monday, down Tuesday. Ultimately, we're going to be right here at this box we drew, I don't even know how long ago. But here we are, and we're about to go into earnings. And I bet tomorrow we stay right here. That being said, if we absolutely send it tomorrow in either direction, I'll probably still take that. But I think there's probably a 90% chance we'll probably have some activity the first 30 minutes, probably right around that noon time, Central Time. Around that lunchtime turnaround, there might be some people checking in on the markets, but I bet that's going to be about it until it's done. So tech is going to be pretty low volume and just hanging out, I think. Let's see. Lauren actually sold puts on NVIDIA. I'm trying to think where everybody's at in the group. I think most of us are, a lot of us are in sold calls against our shares, which, man, I think my final answer was 80% 10-10. 80% chance earnings tomorrow. We chop this thing around. It goes up, down, all around, and we kind of land right back where we are. They come in line. In line's not going to be enough to push it up, but it's not going to scare anybody off. Hopefully not. Maybe it does. Maybe there's some profit taking and it edges its way down. 10% chance they surprise to the upside. And that because that sounds small, because I gave it an 80% chance, you're like, oh, so what are the chances it goes up? That 10% chance, if they surprise, because you can guess the other 10% is it surprises down. If NVIDIA comes out with any kind of surprise tomorrow, I don't think the market's ready for it. I think it absolutely sends it up or down. Whichever way it does, I don't think it's going to be small. I doubt it's going to be a blip. I bet it's going to be one of those like 18 to 20% earnings. I kind of do and don't want that because I have sold calls. That's going to instantly those shares are going to just go away. Best case scenario, anybody that sold puts and calls, we chop this thing around. Vega just hacks away, just takes it right at the knees. And then you're just up a bunch more money tomorrow, or the next day. Wheel if you get assigned. NVIDIA is right now it's a great ticker to run the wheel on. Outside of it being earnings week, premium on this is actually a pretty amazing. For the allocation you have out there selling puts or covered calls, NVIDIA's been an absolute great one. That being said, I think most of you guys followed the 117 calls that we sold back here before it just rocked that thing up. If it does send it to 140, 160, that's probably going to put us out of management mode. We're going to have to let the shares go and then start selling puts in it. The reason why we waited this long is because of earnings, because of Vega. It made that options premium absolutely amazing. So, again, best case scenario, we chop this thing or it sells off down to this zone. If we are going to be sitting amazing, if NVIDIA just grinds its way down and ends at 120, that is going to be amazing. One, we'll probably add on. Two, we'll take the premium from the sold call and probably just buy more shares. There will be a lot of adding. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. We got to finish up Palantir, but then if the premium stays where it's at, we're probably going to grab another 100 shares in that account, keep that thing rocking. So right now, again, guys, and don't get too caught up in whoever you're watching. Remember, don't sit in an echo chamber. That's a bull flag or reversal. And if no one's mentioning both sides, then they probably just haven't been here that long. Bulls are going to tell you it's a bull flag. All the bears are going to say it's a lower high and a reversal. Hear their best case points, and then tomorrow we'll find out. Tomorrow will be an all hands on deck scenario because anybody that now there's investors that are just going to watch their earnings. That's it. Anybody that has their finger on the trigger, short term scalpers, swing traders, any midterm, if they have the finger on the trigger for any scenario, they're going to be watching tomorrow. So if there's a move to be made that they're planning on, there'll be full attendance tomorrow. So people will vote with their wallets. That's the more important part. I don't really care what numbers are or what guidance is. Ultimately, the reaction comes first. Come on, downside 10%. Then I could use sold call money to buy more shares. Yeah. The IV for next is still high, worth rolling before earnings. I've been tempted to do so many times. I just haven't. I think I might roll a few of mine. I'm in because I have 117s, 118s, 120s. I have quite a few calls sold, and they're kind of scattered. And I might actually roll a few of those up $1. You know, the 118s to 119s, the 120s to 121s. I'm not going to pay. I'm going to collect money regardless. So I'm sure I'll answer that again in tonight's call out with what's NVIDIA doing. For now, let's just get back to the Russell. I gotta say that looks Of all of them, that kind of looks like the better dip buy. At least it's kind of just keeping this consistent uptrend. The trend is your friend until they rob you, steal all your money, and cheat on you with your best friend. I think that's how the saying goes. Anyway, right now I think that would be a dip buy.